With graphics like that, this guy must work out. Alright folks, coming to you from the shop. I made a movable workbench, and I got ideas from several folks online. I made this. I didn't buy much for it. Most of this was just excess materials, so I wasn't worried about making it. Basically, I have a mechanic and a woodworking shop, and I do just as much as both. So I've got a lift in here. So I'm trying to get all my woodworking stuff on one wall and all my mechanical stuff on another wall. And when I need to do woodworking, I want to be able to drag this table out and set up and do what I need to do, and then slide it back out of the way. So it's a 4x5 table. It's reinforced with 2x4s. I used treated 4x4s for the post on all four corners, 2x6s across the bottom, and then I put 16-inch centers all the way through for the floor. And this is 3/4-inch plywood on top. So I got my vacuum set up in there, and it's wired up to my power strip, which is right here. So when I turn it on, it automatically starts sucking. You can unhook it from the vacuum and move it all over the bench, and then push it back down in there, and use it for other tools that you got set up on here. I made some holes here for dowels, the way I can use them for putting stuff together. It's the same exact height. Hold on, Bubba. It's the same exact height as my table saw, so I can use it as a run-out table. And then I've got, these are old speaker cabinets or speaker boxes that I was getting rid of, so I turned them into drawers. I've got stuff for all my saws or my sanders, and then I got another one down here. This is where I put router, biscuit joiner, saw, other tools. I got my little pocket here for more dowels I can put in there. I did take a router bit and routed the edges of these around to try to make it as flat as possible. Got a bench vise, and I got a drawer right here that I just jerry-rigged a lock. And there I've got my planer and the fence for my router table, which sits up here on the bench right now. You can lock that back. I got me a couple magnetic strips here, and then I put a couple more drawers on this side. This was just excess wood that I had sitting around. Put a couple drawers in and made it to where they overlapped, so sawdust doesn't get down in there. And then on this side, I kind of made a little hanger for my clamps. So I've got my 4 big clamps, and then a kind of like a track saw device. This is just a 4-man's way of doing it. So I thought about making this to where it can change out, but for most of the projects I do, I don't need a large assembly table. I've got plenty of floor space. But I did just make these and made some divots for them. So basically the way this works is that's actually the wrong side. Snaps down in there. And this one snaps down in there. And then if I'm cutting a certain length, I can clamp a little block on here and have a set length for those, so it's kind of a run out for my miter saw. So I've got another miter saw. It's a job site saw that's better than this one, but this is the one that stays in my shop for projects I do here at home. So far good, so good. I haven't actually done any projects on it other than little stuff around the house. I did buy, I think these are 450-pound casters, and when you lock it down, it's not moving anywhere. So for my projects, like I said, the projects I handle, this table work is probably going to work perfect. Right now I have to get out sawhorses, and I've got an old Black & Decker metal stand that I set up, but this is going to take the place of that. I'll still use that setup, but this will help with not having to set up as much for projects that I do. I can just roll this out in the middle of the floor, cut everything. Vacuum's already set up, the handles start collecting the dust, and then I've got more storage back in here, in between the drawers, so I can put stuff in there if I need to. But for the most part, this is going to do what I need. I've got my drill press over here set up, and then I've got another little movable table. This is set up with the same size casters, and it's got my sander and my bandsaw on it. And I'll probably end up getting a lathe for the other side of it. But this is kind of my little woodworking setup that handles the small custom projects that I do. A lot of it's building little entryway cabinets for like locker assemblies for kids to put their coats and stuff in, or small cabinets for a bathroom or something like that. So don't do anything really bigger than that, but this will definitely help and cut down on having everything in one spot. And I also tried to make it to where I have everything closed off. So I got more tools in here, power tools, and when I do any woodworking, I get dust everywhere in the shop. So this is kind of going to help keep it in one spot, and I'll be able to just move that vacuum hose over to whatever tool I'm using, and use that to suck up the dust. So hope this helps.
This guy needs to be a poster child for birth control. If you like that video, hit subscribe.